Hi Devanshi, how are you?
Hi Harshita, I'm good. How are you?
I'm great as well. So maybe we can start with a little bit introduction about yourself, about your educational or professional background.
Okay. Yeah, so I am Devanshi. I was born in Kolkata but brought up in Bangalore, and I completed my bachelor's in BCom Professional from Christ University. I currently work at Bain Company, and I will be joining HEC Paris's Masters in Marketing this year.
Hey, that's great, that's great. So like which school did you receive offers from?
I received offers from HEC Paris, Imperial Business School in London, and ESSEC in Singapore.
Okay, triple admits, that's a big thing. Congratulations for that. So like was any of these your dream school?
Yeah, HEC has always been my dream school, and like I always wanted to study marketing and sort of understand how it works. So HEC was the school I was looking at for obvious reasons, also that it's ranked number one, and the course is also really interesting with the curriculum. So HEC was always my dream school, and I cannot believe it's happening, and I'm super grateful to Admit Scholar for this.
Okay,
So yeah.
that's great. So like how did you feel when you opened the offer letter?
Yeah, I think like the first, like when I was logging into the platform to like see what the results are, I was just like, I couldn't believe it. Then I immediately called up Sahil. I texted him for Sahil, and he was like, okay, I know where this is going. What is it? And then I told him, and then we were speaking, and he's like, Devanshi, you made it to your dream school. And I'm like, yeah, like for a minute, I was just like, I cannot believe it. Like someone pinched me because it was just like, oh my God, how did this happen? So yeah, I
That
think it was like once in a lifetime feeling, I guess. So yeah.
that must be surprising as well. So
Yeah,
okay.
like a
So like why did you choose this school or program over others?
so I think I chose HEC one because of the university, of course, like it is globally recognized for its ranking, for its curriculum, and it also offers this tech product track that I really wanted to explore in marketing rather than a very general marketing that the other schools were offering. And also because of its location, mostly being in Paris, which is again the hub for marketing or anything related to branding with luxury brands as well. So that as well as I think yeah, compared to like the other two that I got into, I was always looking at this. It was my dream college. And the curriculum, the faculty, and the people, I've heard like really good things about HEC always. I also spoke to a lot of students who'd already been there, and they had only good things to tell. So eventually, yeah, I think it was super easy to narrow down that this is what I would like to study in.
That's great. So like what challenges did you face during the application process?
Challenges, I think, yeah, I can like the list can just go on. But yeah, it's a super overwhelming process because you're like very stressed with the deadlines and the plethora of lists that they require for be it like LORs, essays, and CV, and then the interview process and so on. So I think it's really a very overwhelming process for someone to figure out from scratch. So for me, it was mainly the essay writing, which I was like really struggling with because I was like, although I had a why and all these reasons about why I want to study this, that, but building a storyline and, being able to communicate that is something that was a really big challenge for me because I wasn't able to like figure out how to put things into words and how do I make it impactful and how do I basically, whatever I have, how do I communicate that? So I think that was a very big challenge for me, especially with like the deadlines that are there. And like, of course, nowadays there's like so much competition. So you really have to like be very clear with your goals. You have to be really clear with what you're trying to achieve. So I think, yeah, the biggest challenge was that for me, like putting things out and especially like the essay bit.
So like how did Admit Scholar help you to overcome these challenges?
Yeah, I think Sahil was like the biggest support system I could have asked for through this entire process. Right from like, just help, like I mentioned, my biggest concern was, say, the story writing bit. He helped me through and through. I cannot like stress enough how he sat down with me for like 3 hours one day And he was just like, Devanshi, we will like build your story properly. So he questioned so many things in a way that got me thinking, okay, if I'm doing marketing, why? What is my story? He really went so deep into like every question to build my story, which eventually gave me so much confidence for like even my interview to be able to speak my story very well. So I think that is something that is really rare with any consultant these days, where they actually sit down with you, hear you out, and then also help you build your story accordingly. So that is something that I found really helpful and different here, which was like a big game changer for me. He was also always approachable. Like, given that this whole process is like so overwhelming and like it's just like it was giving me so much anxiety at one point. He was always there. I would like ask him the silliest questions or even the smallest questions, and I would always have a response from him. He would always be there to either like calm you down or answer all your queries or anything and everything. It was like all problems, one solution was Sahil. So I think that was like the biggest help that I could have asked for. And I even till date keep telling him that I cannot like believe, because I reached out to him like I think a week before the deadline, and I was so paranoid and overwhelmed that how is this all going to happen? I was facing like some whole other issue. But then when I reached out to him, he never made it seem like it's impossible. And that was itself like a big support and push that I got from him, because not once did he say, no, we cannot do this or anything. At every given point in time, he always said, just have faith and do your job. The rest we will see what happens. So I think his guidance, his support, and how he was just there all throughout at every step with like clear systems, clear guidance, and everything just made the process so much more smooth. And yeah, the results speak for themselves, I guess.
So adding like more to this, how would you describe your experience working with Sahil sir, our founder?
Yeah. I think working with him was a great learning experience for me. He like he was like always so clear with everything, which was like so inspirational, because in this process it was like, okay, so many things were coming up and this, that, but he was like always so clear with the systems that were there in place, that okay, first we answer these questions, we'll build your story, then you give your essay a shot and everything like that. So it was so systematic that for someone like me, I needed this system. I needed the clarity in next steps, which I got very clearly from him. So that was very helpful for me. Second, he was also very like clear with what he was suggesting or anything like that. That was always a strong reasoning. So even if there were like questions as to why we're adding something or why we're removing something, they always made sense. It wasn't just like a random read through of my essay or anything. Because he had put in so much time into understanding my story, he knew what would be my strengths in the application and what would not. So for him to be able to guide me accordingly was like giving me so much confidence that yes, I'm speaking to someone who knows my story, who has heard it, who spent time on it, and that's why he's suggesting something. And of course, for his experience, he knows what would be the best thing to put out there and what not. So I think that gave me immense confidence. Like when I was submitting my application for HEC, I felt really good about the essays I had written. I felt really confident about the LORs and everything like that. So I felt like I was in a good place. And I think that confidence only comes from like the whole process, when you have someone who actually supports you through it, guides you through it, especially given how tedious this entire thing can get. So I think, yeah, it was all in all a very amazing experience. And I cannot like I don't know how else to put this, but like if anybody's like ever stuck, I would like definitely recommend Admit Scholar. The funny part is like how I found out about Admit Scholar was through an Instagram post, because I was just looking out for like consultants and this, that, and I was in fact trying to work out with another consultant, but it didn't work out. And then somehow I came across this triple admit post of Admit Scholar, and I just reached out to Sahil. Like that's why it was like all rushed. It was just 1 week in advance, and I reached out to him. And just the amount of confidence that he gave me that this is doable was amazing. And even after, say, the whole essays and all of that, even the interview process, we had like regular mocks. So at no point when I faced the jury did I feel like, okay, no, I'm stuck or I don't know what to do. like the entire mock interview. He would grill me, he would ask me questions only so that I'm prepared for the main day. And on the main day, I felt like a sense of calm that, okay, I've done this like 5 times before this. I just have to think it's the same thing again and like answer my questions. I'm prepared. I know everything. It's my story. I just have to say it out. So I think he really helped me with that. So all in all, it was a very great experience, and I could not like have imagined any of this without Sahil or Admit Scholar. And I'm really like so grateful to have gotten where I am here today.
Thank you for that. So, like, were you hesitant and like, did you had a belief that you would get to these top B schools?
Initially, I was really hesitant because I felt like I was a little late into the process and it was already round two also, so I couldn't honestly wait out more. But I think the belief really came in after conversations with Sahil and like the entire process, how he helped me through it. So the more and more we spoke about my story, the more and more I felt that, okay, no, this is taking some shape. This is being built really well, and I'm able to play to my strengths. I'm able to communicate what I want to tell to the jury and things like that. So eventually, yeah, I started to have a little more faith in the entire thing that I was trying to achieve. But yeah, initially, like first, there was like some hesitation because, of course, it's like a very big deal and it's like a dream for anybody. So yeah, but the belief did come in through the process as you like keep moving ahead one step at a time. So first, when we got through the next round, like when we got the mail for an interview, I was like, again, that message, I was like, Sahil, I think we moved to the next one. So it's like always like, okay, through and through, like, one step at a time, you get through it. And I think Sahil's guidance and support in every step just kept adding on to the belief. So at one point, we're just like, fingers crossed now, we have done our work and let's see how this goes. So,
That's great. That's great to hear. So, like,
yeah.
how was the experience with the first consultation call, like that you had with Sai sir only?
Yeah, I think the first call, yeah, like it was really great because one is I at that point in time I really needed someone to tell me what I'm thinking is not impossible, and that's what he made it seem like it was not impossible. He at no point did he tell me, no, Devanshi, it's a dream school, you cannot achieve it, or that you should have like any other school as your backup or anything like that. Of course, it's always practical, and he did say that, yeah, we'll not just apply to one college, but he never made me feel like what I'm wanting to achieve is impossible in the first call at all. So I think, yeah, the first call just made it feel like, okay, this is possible. And most importantly, I will be there with you through the process. So that's what you really need at that point in time to get a push because, like, this entire process can get very like people just sometimes don't even think about it because it seems like a very big task or it seems really overwhelming. But the first call with Sahil gave me that confidence that, okay, one, I will have Sahil throughout the entire process, given he also knows a lot of things. He is so experienced. So I had so much confidence after the first call that, yeah, if I figure it, like, if I'm able to do this, I will be able to do it with Sahil's help and guidance. And two, what I was thinking of was not impossible. So I felt like, okay, what I'm thinking of is achievable. It's not something random or out of the blue or impossible. So I think that also gave me like a lot of motivation and confidence. And he like in the first call itself, he gave me like clear steps as to say, okay, Devanshi, first we will now say if we move ahead, the next thing we will do is first understand your story. I'll give you a list of questions and we'll first understand why. And that's what is the most important thing. So he laid out like clear steps for me, which was really helpful because at that point in time, it gave me clarity, it gave me timelines, and it gave me a very systematic process, which was really helpful for me to, break down this entire process into small bit, take it one step at a time, and have his support and guidance throughout. So yeah, it was a very good call. And then immediately next call, I was like, okay, Sahil, let's do this. Let's see how do we get there. And he's like, yes, HEC offer is coming to you, Devanshi. Let's move on now. So yeah, that was really
That's
nice.
okay. That's great. So, like, would you recommend Admit Scholar to others? Why or why not?
I would most definitely recommend Admit Scholar to anybody. Like even like now, if anybody reaches out to me, my first thing is like, don't even ask me questions, just have one call with Sahil and you will have all the answers you need. So I definitely would recommend Admit Scholar. In fact, I was just like a few days back, we had a small meeting with a different, like a group of admits to HEC, and we were just talking about how, we were working with different consultants. And I was the only person on the table who said, my consultant actually helped me out. Like, I'm so grateful, I'm so happy. And it all worked out, whereas others had to say some, like, they had their own things to say that, okay, no, this didn't happen, this didn't happen. But I was just like, guys, I don't know what y'all are saying. I cannot relate to it because I got every help that I needed at every point in time, and I couldn't like be more grateful about it because I was especially after that I realized more that I was so like fortunate to have been gotten this support to like make it to my dream college. So I most definitely will recommend anybody who is planning for their masters, be it or an MBA or any of that, have that first call with Sahil and you will have like a lot of clarity itself right from there, and he will be there with you all throughout, no matter what. His experience and his guidance will definitely help you out. So I like cannot stress this enough on how much I would recommend Admit Scholar because they are like genuinely invested in your process and like in your goal. And I think that's what is really important. So you need someone who is as invested as you would be to build your story, to help you communicate it, and to help you achieve your dream. And that's what Admit Scholar was for me. It was like a friend, a mentor, a guidance, and like a support system throughout, which is what I exactly needed. And yep, I'm so grateful today, and I like definitely recommend Admin Scholar.
Okay, that's great. So the last question, do you have any tips or words of encouragement for future applicants?
Yeah, I think one would be that dream big, never think that any college is not achievable. Of course, like dream big, fully apply for the college that you want to go for. Get the right guidance, most important, because you will need support. You will need someone answering all your doubts, all your queries. Get the right support. Get someone who helps you build your story, because a lot of times we know what we want to do, we know why we want to do it, but being able to put that in 400 words is not easy, because you can go on and on about it or you will just have like 10 words about it. But someone who helps you build your story to the point where they know that which college is looking for what strengths, that is really important. So get the right consultant, get the right help that you need. Start early a little bit for sure so that you don't have last minute anxiety. You have everything ready and you're not overwhelmed. You're thinking not because of any time crunch, but because you have a mission to achieve. And yeah, just take it calm, I guess. If you have the right support, you will automatically. So I think just, yeah, dream big, get the right support, and start early, I guess. But rest, everything will happen. And yeah, another tip would be get Admit Scholar and get Sahil. So I think, yes, fully like all the best for anybody who's applying in the future. But yeah,
A very great lesson for future applicants. So thank you, Devanshi. It was a really nice time talking to you.
thank you, Harshita. It was nice here too. Have a great day.